We have a comprehensive bulletin lined up for you this afternoon. My name is Jackie Meru. Sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. And to kick us off, we shall be crossing over to Parliament buildings, where the Senate will this afternoon decide whether it is a committee which will hear announced a motion against Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza, or the case will be prosecuted through the plenary. This will be decided through a special sitting that has been convened by the Senate, which was on a 2-month recess. If Senate decides to form a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the impeachment allegations, then the committee will have 10 days from the special sitting date to hear the matter and make its recommendation to the House. Section 33(6) subsection A of the County Governments Act says if a special committee reports that the particulars of any allegations against the governor have not been substantiated, further proceedings shall not be taken in respect to that allegation. However, if the special committee finds that the reason for the removal of the governor cited by the MCAs are weighty and proven, then the committee can recommend the ejection of the governor through the entire Senate has to vote to either endorse the recommendations or reject it. Now, remember, Governor Mwangaza was impeached after just 112 days in office, with all MCAs present at the Assembly voting unanimously to have the first-term governor removed from office. We shall now be crossing over to Parliament buildings, where our reporter Edward Kabasa will give us more details on what to expect. Kabasa?
Good afternoon, Jackie Meru. We are live at the Parliament of Kenya, where this afternoon the Senate has convened a special sitting beginning 2:30 to consider the impeachment of Governor Kawira Mwangaza. Just like you said, the governor was impeached by the Meru County Assembly. 67 members of the County Assembly voting in support of that impeachment motion, which was moved by the Abagote MCA Kyogora. And this afternoon, just like her previous colleagues, Governor Mwangaza, I beg your pardon, finds herself put to her defense to tell the senators and the Senate as a whole why the impeachment motion by the County Assembly should not stand. I am joined by the Senator for Kisumu County, Senator Professor Tom Ojenda. Good afternoon, Senator.
Afternoon.
A momentous occasion here, not just for the Senate, but for Kenyans and Meru residents, to be exact. This is not a new thing that is happening in Kenya. We have seen senators debate, discuss impeachment motions before. We did see the former Kiambu governor sent home. We also did see the former Nairobi County governor sent home. What does this moment mean for Mwangaza, and what does it mean for the people of Kenya, especially the people of Meru?
I think it is a test of the Constitution, because the Constitution under Article 181 sets a framework for impeachment where governors violate the Constitution, commit national or international crimes, or basically undertake or do acts that amount to gross violation of the law and of the Constitution. Let me say that we have a task as Senate to consider motions brought to us under Section 33 of the County Government Act, and the first step is what we shall do today. The first step under Section 33 is for the Senate to determine whether it shall proceed by way of plenary, which means that the 68 senators, or the 47, if you may, voting in the end, will determine the fate of the governor. That's number one. Number two, the Senate can choose to proceed by way of committee. That's a committee of 11 appointed by Senate. Now, that committee then would hear the complaints by the governor, and in the event that the committee acquits, then it shall be so adopted by Senate. If the committee convicts, then the Senate shall vote after the committee proceeds. I think this is the first step, and we are here as Senate to sit and to deal with those questions.
Questions have been asked about the threshold needed to impeach a governor, with some arguing that perhaps it is time to relook that particular article of the Constitution and make it not very easy to impeach. What is your take on that?
I think that depends. There's a lacuna in the law. The lacuna exists in terms of time frame. This is a unique impeachment coming only 4 months after a general election. Very unique. Number two, it is also unique in the sense that for the first time, we are seeing an impeachment or a motion signed by 67 out of 68 members of the County Assembly. That's very unique as well. Number three, the question of time frame is unique. No senator has been impeached after only being in office for 4 months. So I agree with you that there is need perhaps for Senate to consider a law in the future, a law that would, for instance, deal with the question of the time for impeachment and the threshold question. I've litigated the threshold. I defended the Senator for Wajir Abdullahi successfully. I was involved in the Wambora case on the other side as well. So I've been involved in these matters. I understand them very well. But what is important is that it is premature at this point to discuss the merits or demerits of the Mwangaza impeachment, because the documents will be served once the procedure is agreed.
All right. Finally, this is a political process, and some have argued that had the governor been a member of any of the political parties that formed government, perhaps the situation would have been different. Is there a silver lining for Governor Mwangaza, politically speaking?
I agree with you that this will be a political process. I know that the Meru County Assembly has 21 members from UDA and 20 from the Mbas party. And I think largely the political dictates of our time or of the present will determine a lot of things on the impeachment. One, because we have a majority in the House from UDA, that's number one. But number two, fundamentally, because the impeachment will also follow the law. It will depend on the issues. Because you cannot impeach without issues, that's number one. But number two, again, you cannot convict without issues. But where there's overwhelming evidence, again, you cannot run away from convicting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That is the Senator for Kisumu County, Senator Professor Tom Ojenda, giving us what to expect. Of course, the charges will be read out. And as we speak, the House Business Committee is meeting. The 11 members of that select committee, the names will be made available in the order paper this afternoon. But of course, the final say lies with the plenary. They will decide whether to go the committee way or hear this impeachment in plenary. And after that, the governor will be given the opportunity to defend herself. The county assembly, with the legal representation, will also be allowed time to put across their case. Of course, all that will be broadcast live on KBC Channel 1. My name is Edward Kabasa. I now hand you over to Jackie Wambiru at the Broadcasting House.